The big breaking news story we're tracking this afternoon, the Gujarat government has passed the Gujarat Control of Terrorism and Organised Crime 2015 bill. The anti-terror bill has been in the eye of the storm for its stringent provisions. The Congress abstained from voting opposing controversial clauses. The bill, which is on the lines of the stringent Maharashtra Control of Organised Crime Act or MACOCA, was rejected in 2004 and 2008 by the then President APJ Abdul Kalam and Pratibha Patil respectively, who had suggested some amendments in the provisions related to telephone intercepts and confessions made before the police officer being considered as evidence in court. After its passage for the third time in the State Assembly, the bill is still pending clearance from the President. Let's get a word from Mail Today's Darshan, who's with us on the phone line from Ahmedabad. Darshan, I want to understand, if the bill is still pending with the President for consideration, how can it be passed again by the Assembly?
So that's why it has come in a new nomenclature. No, they've changed the name.
All right. And what are the provisions that civil rights activists and the opposition consider controversial?
So basically the same things which were rejected by President APJ Abdul Kalam during NDA regime and Pratibha Patil during the UPA regime. All the two main things are still there.
All right, Darshan, stay on with us. We also have Gaurav Sawant live in our newsrooms. Gaurav, as Darshan is saying that the bill has been rejected by the presidents on 2 occasions, it's pending approval for a third time after it was passed in 2012. What's basically happening here is that the same bill has been introduced under a different name.
And it will remain to be seen. It's extremely interesting. The political dynamics in this country have changed completely. Earlier, there was a difference in center-state relationship. The Gujarat government would send it to the center. There was a Congress government in the center. The Gujarat government constantly alleged that because it was a hostile government at the center, that is why a bill to fight terror and organized crime was rejected by the president on the advice of the center. That was the allegation by then Gujarat government. But now it's the same government at the center, and they have the numbers. Now this is a bill which, according to the Gujarat government, is extremely essential, not just to fight terror but also to fight organized crime, and often both terror and organized crime are interlinked. That is why they've come out with the Gujarat Control of Organized Crime Act. Now the nomenclature may have changed, but it's the aspects of this bill, whether it's a confession made to a police officer being admissible in a court of law, or the custody of an under trial, in this case an accused or a suspect in this case, from 15 days to 30 days, phone intercepts being permitted, phone intercepts being admissible as evidence in court. Now the logic of the Gujarat government and those who are engaged in fighting terror is that to deal with terror, you need stronger laws. Various governments across the world have come out with extremely strong and what civil rights activists call as intrusive laws. Now, civil liberties are curbed, but in this case, the government claims you need to curb some part of civil liberties to deal with terror. Terror cannot have civil liberties. It's the common man who deserves all civil liberties. So that's the argument.
Right,
and in this
but Gaurav,
case, the
I want to
government has sent it to the center.
Are there any other states apart from Gujarat and somewhat Maharashtra who have such stringent laws and provisions that would allow intercepted phone conversations and confessions before police officers to be presented in court as evidence? Are there other states that also allow it, or is it only Gujarat which is passing such a stringent law?
As you rightly point out, Maharashtra is the other state, and Maharashtra has also borne the brunt of terror, and on more than one occasion. 26/11 was one major example, but even post 26/11 there have been a series of terror attacks. So states that bear the brunt of terror often want to come out with strong laws, and that was the argument that was used by the Gujarat government when there was a Congress government at the center, saying Maharashtra has a similar act and which has more stringent subsections in their law. But because there was a Congress government in Maharashtra at that point of time and a Congress government at the center had no problems with this. Now it's the same BJP government in the state and the BJP government at the center. It remains to be seen what is the advice that goes to President Pranab Mukherjee and what action is taken on this law that the Gujarat government now wants enacted.
Absolutely. But Gaurav, the opposition's argument would be that this law would make snooping a state policy.
Well, you're spot on there. Intercept rights with the state, and this is something that civil rights activists have been protesting against. They're saying civil liberties will be curbed. You heard Shakti Singh Gohel of the Congress party just a short while back, and he said this is a draconian law. The Congress, that is why, did not vote in favor. It abstained from voting in favor. But that's the big debate. Civil liberties versus combating terror. Would a stronger law help combat terror? That's the call the nation needs to take.
Right, Gaurav, stay on with us. We also have on the phone line Mr. YP Singh, former IPS officer. Mr. Singh, how do you react to the Gujarat government passing this controversial bill? Once again, remember, the bill is already pending under a different name before the president after it was passed the third time by the State Assembly in 2012.
I don't think that this is an undesirable phenomenon because terror law have always been there in the country. We had TADA in the 90s, then we had POTA in the early 2000s, and thereafter, because of the Congress politics of communal nature, the bill was allowed to lapse and no further bill was there to replace it. And if the Gujarat government is coming out with this bill, this is fine with reference to civil liberties. Similar provisions are existing, like confession before the police officer, extending the period of remand, etc., which are there in Gujarat bill. Such provisions are there in the existing laws, such as like the Narcotic Drugs Act and even the Money Laundering Act, which is there. There also there is a bail provision where bail cannot be granted. And I think when there are already such laws existing in the country, to extend it to a terror law, I think this is something which is required. The Gujarat government is doing that is in the fitness of things.
All right, Mr. YP Singh, thanks so much for speaking to Headlines today. The big story we are tracking this afternoon, the Gujarat Assembly has passed the Gujarat Control of Terrorism and Organised Crime 2015 bill. The anti-terror bill has been in the eye of the storm for its stringent provisions. The Congress today abstained from voting opposing controversial clauses. The bill, which is on the lines of the stringent Maharashtra Control of Organised Crimes Act, or MACOCA, was rejected in 2004 and 2008 by the then President APJ Abdul Kalam and Pratibha Patil respectively, who had suggested some amendments. Gaurav Sawant, our senior editor, is with us live from our newsroom. Gaurav, APJ Abdul Kalam and Pratibha Patil had both rejected this bill under another nomenclature in 2004 and 2008, asking for amendments. Now, the fourth time that this bill has been passed, have those amendments been kept in mind?
Certain amendments. Who can a confession be made to? As per the new law passed by the Gujarat government, the Gujarat Assembly, a confession made to an officer of the rank of Superintendent of Police and above. That is a new aspect. That was an amendment that was being looked into, and that is something that has been accepted. In the new draft, the government has retained the provision related to confession made before a police officer, but the proposal is that he should be of the rank of the Superintendent of Police or above. As per clause 16, a confession made by a person before a police officer not below the rank of SP shall be admissible in a trial of such accused, co-accused, abettor or conspirator for an offence under the provisions of this act. So certain changes have been made, but then again the bigger debate will remain. Do you need stronger laws to fight organized crime and terror, or can you do with existing laws? And world over, you've seen stronger laws come in, justifiable or not. There is a debate. Civil rights activists say that innocent people are put behind bars and the real terrorists are seldom nabbed. Security forces say they need more time to interrogate suspects. They need more time to question suspects, and sometimes suspects break down while talking to the police. But once again, when they're in front of a magistrate, which is the existing law of the land, that confession made under section 164 of the CRPC admissible before a court of law, only that can be used as evidence. In this case, they're saying if you can trust a magistrate, you should be able to trust an officer of the rank of Superintendent of Police and above.
Right, and Gaurav, this law has been criticized by several civil rights activists and the opposition, saying that it is a draconian law which is on the same lines as a POTA or TADA that was repealed earlier. How would you say this is different than a POTA?
I've just got an SMS from a political leader who's saying the Congress party should actually explain why is it that this law is acceptable to them in the state of Maharashtra. Makoka was acceptable to the Congress, but it is not acceptable to the Congress party in the state of Gujarat. So that is the political issue that needs to be debated at the political level. That a Makoka is acceptable, but a Gujkoka, what the earlier name of this Gujarat Control of Organized Crime and Terror Act, why was it acceptable in Maharashtra but not acceptable in Gujarat? That is something that the Congress party will need to answer. From what security forces and those combating terror say, that this is something, terror is something you need to look at a national level. This is not something that's affecting one state or one party. This is affecting the entire country. Terrorists have hit out at India, whether it's in Jammu and Kashmir or in Tamil Nadu or in Karnataka, Gujarat and Maharashtra, to a large extent Delhi. So you need a law which is extremely strong to deal with terror. Now, civil rights activist Simi say that despite having POTA, there was no control on terror. POTA did not control terror, was the argument used by civil rights activists. At the same time, from what security analysts say, that POTA did put the fear of law in terrorists, except suicide attackers. They have no fear anyways because they're coming to die. But otherwise, it does deter, if not the main attacker, at least the abettor and conspirators are deterred.
All right, Gaurav, stay on with us. Let's once again listen into that reaction that we got from some Congress leaders after the Assembly passed this contentious bill.
देश में हिंदू मुसलमान भाई भाई बन के रहते हैं, एक ख्वाब दिखाते हैं। गुजरात में जब आतंकवादी नहीं आते थे, मोदी जी कहते थे कोई माइकालाल आतंकवादी यहाँ कदम रख के दिखा दे, और तुरंत सिविल हॉस्पिटल में बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट हुए। तो ऐसी बात करके, गुमराह करके, वोट बैंक की पॉलिटिक्स के लिए आज मुझको मिलाया, इसका हमने विरोध किया। जब हमारी बात नहीं मानी गई, टेक्निकली हमने जो बात समझाई वो भी सरकार ने नहीं मानी, तो हमने आज वॉकआउट किया।
I will continue tracking developments on this big story. The Gujarat Assembly once again passes a controversial anti-terror law. We'll try and get you more reactions from civil rights activists as well. Gaurav Sawant, thanks so much for taking us through what this bill actually means and on what grounds it has on previous occasions been rejected by the President of India.